How do you create extraordinary wealth? I'm going to be bringing in the spiritual guides and share that with you. Yes, we hear. So the idea of extraordinary wealth for most people seems to be out of reach, correct? If you think of back in the days, your parents, for example, to become a millionaire would seem to be kind of a big deal. But if you look around, actually nowadays, becoming millionaires is not quite as big of a deal. But becoming a billionaire seems to be a bigger deal. But it is not impossible because a lot of people have become billionaires, you can say, overnight. And it seems quite out of the ordinary for most people. Most people, you're just having a job and you have a family, you're taking care of things every day. It's kind of like, where do you make the time to find an idea that could create billions of dollars, let's say? Well, it's not about finding an exact idea. It's more about your intention. What do you want to do with that wealth, right? What is it that you're trying to create, right? You can have a positive intention, or for some people, they can have a negative intention, right? They can use that wealth for very selfish reasons. But if you are someone who is aligned with our messages, it's likely that you have a positive intention. And if you have a positive intention, then we would say, make that intention very clear. Make it very clear, first and foremost, to yourself that you intend to become extraordinary wealthy. Because if you keep saying, oh, it's not possible, it's for other people, and I'm not good enough, this and that, then it's like, well, the door is already shut. You don't need us to try to convince you otherwise. You've already shut that door yourself. So it's actually very simple, because first you just have to think, well, maybe it's possible for me. I don't know how yet, but maybe that's possible for me. If you don't have the possibility, okay, you will absolutely not have the probability. Okay, really hear us when we say this. If you don't have the possibility in your mind, you will absolutely not have the probability of getting what you want. So you must think, okay, if this is possible for me, then let me set my course in this trajectory, right? On this train track. This is where I want to be going. And if you set your intention towards this direction, then it is more likely that you will go into that direction. But if you already cut yourself off, and you say, this is not possible for me, and it's maybe possible for other people, but not for me, because I have a bad upbringing, my parents have bad money consciousness and this and that. I have children, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. Whatever it is that your excuses are. Okay, we're going to say excuses because they are excuses. But people love to justify their, what they call reasoning. Okay, they call it reasoning, but it's not. Okay, but you have a lot of excuses for a lot of things. While it's not pleasant to hear that, it's important to recognize it, because if you don't even recognize it, then you really have no chance at all of changing your situation. You're just in denial, which happens to a lot of people. They are in denial, and they would rather be blind to a new possibility than go forward with a new possibility, because the new possibility is really scary, right? It's scary for the ego because it's just unknown, right? So Solera loves the song Into the Unknown from one of the cartoons that she watches. And in some ways, that song really clearly explains how a person feels about going into somewhere that's new and different. To become extraordinarily wealthy, you must clearly set that intention to be extraordinarily wealthy. That is really number one. And to move into that direction, meaning you allow yourself to open up the possibility of opportunities coming into your life. Okay, you must ask the universe for opportunities to show you what's the next step, what's the next step, what's the next step. You don't have to know all the steps. You just need to know what's the next step, right? But a lot of people feel that they have to know everything. They have to know all the steps before they can take any sort of action. Well, we say when it comes down to it, it's just faith. And if you don't have faith, well, We say, don't worry, you'll have your next life. You can die and try again. But ideally, you don't have to die and try again. Ideally, you do it in this lifetime. Does that make sense? Your purpose in this life is to really maximize the opportunity that you have in this lifetime and just give it a go. You must ask for opportunities to come to you. And when you ask for opportunities to come to you, when you ask the universe to show you the way, and you surrender, here's the key word, surrender to the process, you actually find that you will start to be on that path that will lead you to your extraordinary wealth. The reason why we are asking Solera to put together the Council of Billionaires is because if you look around the world right now, it's extremely chaotic and people are in a lot of great confusion. And the power of this world is very much concentrated in the hands of a few individuals. And these individuals aren't necessarily on television showing you how much money that they have, but there are really families that have trillions of dollars, but you'd have no idea where that money is. Okay, the money, the power is hidden. It's a bit like there's a curtain, there's a veil there, and you don't see. Okay, most people in this world do not see really where the money is going, because if you were to distribute that money fairly among, let's say, the world, everybody would have a decent life. Okay, you would not have starving children in Africa. You would not have these places where they don't have clean water. If you were actually to manage that wealth in a way that is conscious, in a way that's beneficial to all of humanity. Because the world is still at the level of consciousness where people are mostly doing things for their own selfish gain. So you end up having a place that, you know, some people are extraordinarily wealthy, some people are at the bottom, and of course you have sort of everybody in between. And it's possible that if you are seeing this video, you are sort of one of those people in the middle. You're not, let's say you're not so poor that you're starving or have no clean water, but you are not so wealthy that you can just do whatever you want, right? Let's say. If it's true that wealth is only in the hands of a few others, then you can see why that there is such imbalance, right? There's a huge imbalance in this world. And you end up having extremism, let's just say it this way. You have extreme ideologies where some people sort of just go around and they preach their extreme ideologies thinking that their way is the best way. But if you have a fair world, you have a fair and just world, then the extreme ideologies would just be eliminated because people would just be happy. They feel that they're taken care of by the universe and by the world itself. But because that's not the case, you create a wound, in essence, a cultural wound, a wound maybe in a particular country, around a particular type of people. And you let the wound fester. Well, what happens when you let a wound fester? Right? You have bugs that go in there. Right? You breed bugs, literally. So this is actually what's happening in terms of consciousness. They're like breeding grounds for really extreme ideas. They're not so healthy. So it is important to understand how to really master the energy of money. And so if you were someone who is aligned with the idea of really helping, assisting humanity in this lifetime, and if you feel called to it, then the Council Billionaire is for you. It's for you in this way because it's aligned with your consciousness, with your own soul's purpose. This is why we have asked Solera to create this on our behalf in the physical form, right? Because we're not coming down from the clouds to come and save all of you, okay? You'll have to save yourself, basically. And in order to, quote unquote, save yourself and save yourselves in plural, then you must shift the way you think about money, think about power, and not be afraid of it. Okay, this is especially true for a lot of women who, culturally speaking, and in terms of society, they have been suppressed, right? So it is important that you step up and really own this position of power. And we're not saying that it's easy, okay? This is not necessarily just going to be like a la 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 type of journey. It's going to require your patience, it's going to require your diligence, it's going to require your focus, and most importantly, it's going to require your faith. So we hope this is a clear enough of an explanation when it comes to the why, okay? Because the world needs you, right? The world doesn't need just anybody. The world needs the person whose intention is in the right place, whose heart is in the right place. And the world needs you to show yourself and be visible and to speak up and to stand up. And at the end of the day, the good question is to ask, if not me, then who? And why not me? Right? If you feel doubtful, you should ask, why not me? It could be me. It could be absolutely you. You as the person that stands up for the rest of the world. And for some people, they have no aspiration, and that's fine. We're not coercing and forcing anybody to join us. But you would feel that resonance if you resonate, and if you really hear what it is that we're trying to express. Yes, so the Council of Billionaires sounds extraordinarily fancy because we're really good at marketing. So we said to Solera, you're going to have this really wonderful name that goes with the program. And we're going to explain a little bit more clearly what is the level of consciousness that's required. Okay, what we are looking for is not your credential. We're not asking you to show us your bank account. Okay, we're not asking you to show us, how successful you are already in order to join the Council of Billionaires. We are here to teach a select group of students, and the reason why it's a select group of students and not everybody is because our intention is to teach those people whose level of consciousness is ready to receive what we have to say. If you watch this video and everything we tell you sort of just goes over your head and you think it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo, that's totally fine. You can just stop watching right now. Okay, so the idea behind the Council of Billionaires, the Council of Billionaires, the words, is a consciousness in itself. And the consciousness behind the Council of Billionaires is for the world to be extremely wealthy in all areas. Okay, now let us clarify. Our intention is for the world to experience abundance. We're teaching as a select few students who will amass an extraordinary amount of money so that money gets to be redistributed to those parts of the world that really, really need the resources. But if you look at big corporations out there, they're amassing wealth, they're getting a lot of money, but their money just goes into the pockets of the CEOs, right? And the big executives. So you have money, but it's in just a few pockets. But what we are trying to teach is to connect with those individuals who genuinely wants to make a huge impact in the world. So in order for you to join, you must have that intention and desire. If you just want to make money and have lots of money in your own pocket, then chances you're not going to resonate with what we have to teach you because it's like we just don't jive with you, okay? And you're not going to jive with us, if that makes sense. If you have no intention to do any sort of philanthropical activities, you have no desire to help the planet, help people, help animals in any sort of capacity, you just want to be happy in your own little world, that's totally fine. It's just, that consciousness, that level of consciousness does not match the level of consciousness that we require in this specific program. Okay, we wanted to be extremely clear about this. We're not saying you're a bad person if you don't have that level of consciousness. If you just want to feed the mouse in your own family and that's what you have to do, that's fine. This is where you need, and that's where you are at this time in your life. So you need to just get busy doing that. But if you are at the level of consciousness where you're clear that at some point in your life, this is the kind of life that you want to create. You want to make an extraordinary impact in the world, right? A deep, profound change, really, in the landscape of humanity, how the world operates. Because in your world, the three-dimensional world, money in essence is power. Money gives you a lot of benefits, yes, because that's how the whole economic system is set up. If you have the technologies that are more advanced, actually you don't even need the economic system. Everyone would just be abundant. Okay, but because your consciousness is not there yet, even if the technologies were just kind of given to humanity, still there will be people who would take the technology and they would just keep them for themselves. And so because that's how the world is right now, our intention is to train those people who are ready to truly create profound change. And so if you are aligned with this direction, okay, if you aligned with this mission that we have for the world, then we say you're welcome to join us. And we will give you all the ancient secrets that really the top 1% of 1% has known for a long, long time. How to create extraordinary wealth using spiritual principles. And we're more than happy to assist those who are aligned with our mission, and only if you are aligned with that mission and with that intention. So it is important that your mind is clear about what your own intention is. So we appreciate your patience and your time in listening to our speech about this idea of the Council of Billionaires, because the Council of Billionaires is really for the good of this whole world. And with that, we're complete. Okay, I hope that is clear to you now. So the Council of Billionaires actually has already started this summer, and it's been really quite an amazing journey to see the channeling, the messages that have come through. And I personally didn't really know what to expect, because sometimes when I do my marketing, I was like, I don't even know what I'm selling. But having really attended the classes myself, since I'm channeling them, it's just been so amazing. And I would say that, they have impacted my own personal wealth, as well. Really, I'm having a fantastic summer with all the students in the Council of Billionaires, and really just creating amazing change in my own personal life and, in the lives of others. So if you are aligned with that mission, as they said, I would love to invite you to join the Council of Billionaires. So you can just DM me on Facebook, or you can send me an email, hello@soleraforhumanity.com. I would love to have a conversation with you.